Hello everyone, and you join me on BB22300 on the approach to Aix-en-Provence on the LGV Mediterranée on a bit of a special train which I'll tell you about in a moment. So just let's get the dynamic brakes going. We're currently pulling in now to the station, and I'll explain why this service is special. There we go. So, this is our locomotive for the day, which is of course one of the TVM fitted BB22200s. And this is a semi-fictional train I've decided to do, which is like a fictional test of this service, making the most of the LGV Mediterranée between, well, Lyon in this case, you join me at Aix-en-Provence, up to Marseille. And of course we have the wonderful Corail VU Lunéa coaches. And this is Aix-en-Provence station. Of course, there's the in-cab signalling, the TVM display, TVM 430 display, and we can start braking. Lovely jubbly. There we go. That's our braking point. Gentle stop. And let's get the doors open. Let's also get the speeds set back up to 160 kph, which is of course the maximum speed of our consist today. So we have we're already off. That was a very quick stop here at Aix-en-Provence. We have a quick run today on the remainder of the LGV Mediterranée up to Marseille Saint-Charles, up to where just before we will join the classic lines and obviously change on to line side signalling and DC overhead wiring. So without further ado, let's get back up to 160 km an hour on the LGV Mediterranée, and I'll show you the inside of the coaches. Slipping, let's reduce power a bit. There we go. We've just had a short spell of rain, and as you can see it's June, so the sun's starting to come out quite early in the morning, which will make for a lovely entrance to Marseille Saint-Charles. There we go, joining the main line again. And this will give us VL, VL, VL for top speed on the TVM display. There we go. And the speed limit is going down, and we're now of course approaching the tunnel into Marseille. A TGV at this point would have to slow down to 230 km an hour. Obviously we're limited to 160. The locomotive top speed is 200 though, but the coaches are 160 coaches. And I said I was going to show you the coaches, so let's start with second class with the lovely couchettes, with a lovely view out onto beautiful French dawn. That is a stupendous screenshot. That is. There we go, lovely jubbly. Not precisely at this moment in time. And then of course we've got the first class coaches. So let's head into the tunnel. And it's a massive downhill, so good thing we've got a nice powerful dynamic brake to hold us on the gradient. There we go, reach 160 and dynamic brake now comes in. We may need to help with some pneumatic brake because it is on the heavier side, and that is now warning us that there's going to be a descent from top consist speed, and of course shortly we will have the reduction into line side signalling and of course KVB and no longer TVM end of in-cab signalling. There we go, this flag will now clear us down to 160, so we need to do no further action because we are already at 160. And to Marseille Saint-Charles in 12 kilometres. Just in time for a very early breakfast for the passengers. Insane gradients down these tunnels. Of course, high-speed lines have got very steep gradients. Lovely jubbly. And we now need to be prepared to slow down even further. I think it's 140. No, 160 per, I think, yeah. I've driven down this line many times, but it's been quite some time now, so I thought what better to do to record a video. And this will probably establish the speed limit. Indeed. There we go. And we're going to actually start slowing down to that 140 because it's quite a gradient, and of course we're coming up to the voltage changeover and everything, so we don't want any sudden shocks. There we go. It says pantograph down. Set the speed limit to 140. No. There we go. No dynamic braking at the moment. This is end of cab signalling. Warning. And this is first line side signal. There we go. End of cab signalling. KVB is now back on. Put up the pantograph. There we go. We have voltage and we have to wait until the REV. Oops, it wasn't. Oh, whoops, it wasn't until here. Naughty me. Here the pantograph would go up. There we go. And now we have to wait for the REV sign, which allows us to close, of course, the main circuit breaker, which is just before the tunnel. I always forget where it is. Naughty me. There we go. REV and circuit breaker closing. And speed up to 140 on 1.5 kV DC overhead wires, which is of course a lot less powerful than 25 kV AC. And now we have to keep an eye on signals, and TBM is of course disarmed. There we go. Lovely approach into Marseille. .5 kilometres, quite a fast stretch, and then of course we come up to the sidings at Marseille Saint-Charles, and there's quite a lot of trains parked up there as well early in the morning. We come down to a 110 speed limit, and of course you can already see the first skyscrapers of Francis, however you want to say it, as second largest city. Get a nice light side view. And now we've got to stop slowing down for that 110. And I'm now actually, I'm going to put the speed set down to 110, and we're going to carry on slowing down for that 60. Give it a bit of space. There we go. And start slowing down again. Going to dim our main headlights as we're coming into a main station, apply a bit more brake, and set speed limiter to 60. Or as the French call it, imposed speed. I'm actually just going to get rid of speed set now, go into normal traction mode so that we can make use of the manual dynamic brake. That is the junction towards Nice and Toulon, and of course the Italian part of the Mediterranean line, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to carry on slowing down now. This is what's called an avertissement, which is a single yellow signal, which we of course have to acknowledge. There we go. And of course coming into Marseille, which is an amazing station. I'm going to do it from the rear coach. There's quite a few trains stabled. And for some reason the signal is single red, which is a proceed aspect anyway. I don't quite know why that is. Oh no, it's just gone single yellow. Okay, brilliant. There you go. And this is again a single red, which I don't know why it is. It's a single flashing red, which is 15 kilometers an hour, which I can definitely do. No, it's gone single yellow again. I don't know. Maybe it's got some kind of weird approach to control that DTG put in. I don't know. Doesn't matter. There you go. Got an AGC there. Got some Corail VUs. The difference between a Corail VU and a VTU, this is a Corail VU. As you can see, the door is where the gangway, where the vestibule is, and there's nothing behind the door. And in a VTU, there's a bit of space behind the door and the vestibule. So and then we've got an AGC and another AGC, some regional coaches, and there's a BB22200 here. And we're now entering Marseille Saint-Charles, where you can see a TGV 22, a Rezo, Abbey Series 100, Glenfair, some more Corail coaches. Love this head-out view from the coaches here. And what else have we got? We've got our Series 100 here. We've got some more. Got another 7200 in En Voyage livery. So I'm going to now just gradually start slowing down to this amazing French station. Let's turn off my desk light. Don't need it anymore. And I'm going to start raising, well, when we stop. Wonderful. I'm going to turn off my fans, open my cab door, turn off my fans, turn off my compressor. Don't need it anymore. And then yeah, actually we do need it, silly me, because we need to pull into the shunt. But nevertheless, I'm going to grab some nice, well, quite a cool lineup of trains here at Marseille. Of our quite cool French and Spanish arrangement of trains. There you go. Of course, being a stop-to-day terminus station, we have to provide ETH, and on DC overhead wiring, we are required to raise the second pantograph as well. There we go. Get a nice screenshot with that as well. That's an awful screenshot. There you go. That'll do. And then, of course, all we need to do now is to let the passengers off. And that's it for me. I'm now going to turn off, of course, the electro-pneumatic brake. There we go. And that's us. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this this shortish video on the Freight Riviera, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.